We are talking about another scam on Twitter. Such sad news for a Friday, but OpenAI CTO's Twitter account was hacked and it promoted a fake crypto called the OpenAI token. Once hacked, the attackers leveraged the account to execute a fraudulent airdrop. The tweet reached about 80,000 people before it was taken down. Scam Sniffer on Twitter said that the attackers got away with around $110,000. Will, I'm going to toss this one off to you. It's so easy to spin up one of these tokens, right? And it's becoming increasingly easier and easier to launch these attacks. How do people stay safe out there?
I mean, if the CTO of OpenAI is not safe from Twitter attacks and from launching their own token without knowing it, then I don't know who is. And they're going to go after people in these places, right? They're going to go after people in places of notoriety. OpenAI has just been in every headline for the last 6 months. So to be a CTO position is a trusted institution or a trusted startup, not quite an institution yet. Maybe one day when Skynet takes over, it's an institution. But for now, just a big startup in the space. Everybody knows about it. People are going to be paying attention to that, just like they're paying attention to Kathy Woods, the world, saying like, how should I think about my investment advice? And people do make decisions based on Twitter accounts. So if you're able to grab that and then shill some sort of token, it's a very easy scheme to make money. This account itself has seemingly made a decent amount of money. There seems to be some sort of like software program teaming up with the people who scam them, and they're like splitting the money in two different ways. Interesting. I've not seen that before, but we have seen lots of Twitter attacks like this in the past. The most notable one was back in 2020, where we had that Florida teenager. He was like 17. He broke into Twitter's backend, was able to tweet for like multiple different accounts for Bitcoin, Barack Obama's account, the Cash App account, many others, including CoinDesk's account, were taken over and tweeted about Bitcoin. So that's a thing that goes on Twitter all the time. Just be careful. Don't send money to a random project or contract you have not seen before. Adam?
Yeah, I mean, following up on our story yesterday, I think that this is just another reminder that the speed at which these things happen and kind of the FOMO, try to jump in as quickly as possible is kind of the problem. And so again, like, it's not to say that you can't make money doing that, but it is to say that to the extent that people do follow that path, which is, hey, I see a project, I think it's going to be big, I'm going to get in right now and I'll do my diligence later. Like, I think that increasingly, especially with these higher profile things, just doesn't pay off. And the risks associated with it are quite significant. So the good news here is that only 80 people, only a little bit over $100,000, but still 80 people and $100,000 in that amount of time is pretty wild. Zach?
This is a serial scammer, though. There's been some interesting stats compiled suggesting that this is a repeat offender who's been able to take in something like $1.8 million through a number of these attacks. So I think we're really missing the story here is the emergence of a new bad guy on the scene, the so-called pink drainer, who is out there scamming something like 648 total victims, according to one dashboard on Dune Analytics. So it is fascinating to watch the emergence of this cottage industry around scamming people out of their money. And it is sad to see, but hey, that's sort of permissionless finance in all of its ugliness as well. So anyway, just wanted to suggest that we have a character emerging out here in the shady underbelly of Twitter.com. Jen, what do you think?
Who could it be? I want to just elaborate on something Will said because we kind of skirted it over and I think it's pretty interesting. Pink Drainer used a type of malware as a service where the platform takes 30% of everything you steal and you get to keep the remaining 70%. It is just like unbelievable to me to see that platforms like this are popping up and being able to operate and just enabling these criminals to get away with money. So watch yourselves out there, people. It's becoming easy.
It is becoming easy indeed. I want to go back to the CTO position. The fact that a CTO is compromised, CTOs for the most part are very diligent about their security, right? These are the people in your company who are always going around being like, are you using two-factor authentication? Are you using like the web app version on your phone with Google Auth, or are you using like 2FA via text message? Like they're the ones always turning over these stones, and to see someone like that get compromised makes you start to worry that maybe anyone can be compromised. We have seen that in the past, right? Where the prominent person within tech falls for one of these things. They open something in their email that they're not supposed to. And it seems like a boring story, but it does happen to people, and it can happen to you, and then you lose money. So I guess this is like our little shout out on the show. Just be careful what you click on. We say that probably once a week at this point because these scams still be happening. Zach.
Yeah, they definitely do. Be careful out there. And if it seems too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. OpenAI dropping a token is not going to happen. So pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
Consider throwing your retirement into it.
No. Do not listen to Will. No. Adam, I think, had a more cogent point. I saw his hands. I'm going to throw it his way.
Yeah, I think the thing to so all that's true. Like personal security is really important, but it's another downside about using this type of platform, right? We mentioned the kind of the really broad scale attack on Twitter a year or two ago. That was not individual things being compromised. That was an engineer got compromised. And again, if you look at other types of things, we've seen this before as well. So there's just risk implicit in sort of any of these platforms. Again, like your security is sort of subordinated to their ultimate security. And to the extent that you're a public figure and to the extent that you have a lot of reach, well, that means you're really, really valuable to compromise. Jen?
It feels like the tech people are getting compromised more so than others. Wasn't it a dev that got compromised in the Ronin bridge attack as well? Just what's going on out there?
Big company stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, again, as companies get bigger, your attack surface just goes up really, really significantly. So the attack surface is smaller now at Twitter now that they laid off 75% of their people, right? But it's still a big company, and it was the same thing with the Axie story. It's just like they grew a lot. And as a result of that, that means you've got more vulnerability. Will?
Yeah, last thought on this is just the fact that everyone's so online nowadays. These people who work in the tech side of things, the security side of firms, they're often posting about like their daily habits, where they're at, all that information. So it's very easy to find this information now about someone who might possibly be in charge of like private keys or be in charge of security for a company. It's easier than ever to get that information just because we are so online. Zach?
The hash should stay is lean, mean, 4 people tops. We're minimizing the surface area for
we have
attacks.
our lawyer on every day. She's just watching apps.
It makes me feel so safe. Don't attack us, people.